Hello, everyone. I am your host, MeleeWizard, and it's that time of year again. It is time for my holy crap, sixth annual holiday randomizer marathon. It will be held on Saturday, December 17th, starting at noon Eastern and ending whenever it ends. Past history tells me more or less 14 hours, but given this lineup and how some of my practice seeds have gone, might be closer to 20. I hope not, but Anyway, let's just start from the top. Game number one, Secret of Mana. This one, with Secret of Mana, it is an open world randomizer. You do start with Flammy Drum and the escape rope. You start with a random character with a random weapon. The other two characters are somewhere in the world with random weapons of their own. The other five exist. Not to mention all of the magic, all the weapon orbs, all of the mana seeds, all that good stuff. And the main objective, at least on my settings, is basically just to get to the mana tree with a specific number of mana seeds. I will not know how many right off the bat. I will know it is somewhere between 5 and 8. If I reach the mana tree and I don't have enough, I will find out how many I need then. Thankfully, getting back to the mana tree is pretty much instantaneous at that point. So I would definitely like to get there sooner rather than later once I have the means to do so. The enemies are random and will scale to my level, which means I probably should invest in defense at some point because they tend to hit hard higher at the higher levels. Also, the bosses are going to be completely random, such that I will very likely see the same one more than once, which could be a good thing or a bad thing, depending on which ones they are. I have experienced the magic spamminess of certain bosses, which kind of sucks when I can't respond with magic spamminess of my own. The Mana Fortress is pretty much a non issue, just because, in my experience, the Mana Dragon fight is kind of meh. And honestly, fighting the six bosses I have to face on the way to the mana tree might be the bigger challenge anyway. So that's why I decided to just have the seed that end at the mana tree itself. And depending on how many mana seeds I need and how many and where they are, I could probably be clearing most of the world anyway. So that's game number two, Metroid Fusion. With this one, you don't really need that much for items, or at least it doesn't feel like it, because you pretty much the main objective is to have whatever you need to fight to do the SAX fight at the end, which basically amounts to charge beam, plasma beam, missiles, and whatever combination of items you need to get to the level 4 locks and back. I want to say gravity suit and speed boost are a given, but there's a couple combinations of things that you could use to get there otherwise. All of the SAX encounters along the way have been removed, though the nature of the station itself does kind of change as you get certain items. I'm not entirely sure on the particulars, but I'll just react to things as I go. The main issue with Metroid Fusion is that it's not that hard to soft lock yourself. And even the racing community suggests that you largely limit your saves to the start of whatever section you're about to dive into. That way, if you die or find yourself stuck with no way out, at least the progress you lose is limited to just what you did in that section. In my experience, after given my experience, I want to say I have a decent idea of when to go and not go to certain areas, but sometimes the randomizer can be stupid, sometimes it's me being stupid. Such is life, and I just have to adapt to it. So, game number 3, Illusion of Gaia. With this one, The game, it's pretty much the road to Dark Gaia, and the number of bosses I have to fight, and specifically which bosses I have to fight, will be determined at the start of the seed. And the main issues there will be finding various abilities like the Psycho Slide and the spin dash and dark fire, and also the items that will allow me to go from one place to another, like say the teapot and the various letters and the will and other things. Each item allows me to go to certain other locations, and I basically traverse that way. Though any given save room allows me to go back to South Cape whenever I want, just so I don't find myself stuck somewhere. the I seriously hope the game doesn't try to force me into going to places like Angkor Wat or Mu early on, because those places can be kind of mean. Though I have kind of halfway figured out how Mu is laid out, so that may not be quite so bad. But the enemies can still hurt a lot if you don't have the stats to handle it. And honestly, the Dark Gaia fight is pretty much a non-issue because ever since I learned the cheese strats, it's really not that hard. Honestly, some of the bosses I may have to fight along the way may be harder. So, game number 4, Super Mario Brothers 2. Kind of as a little palate cleanser along the way. Level order is random. Enemies are random to an extent. The Panzer varieties are random. The Birdo varieties are random. The Birdo egg patterns are random. Birdo health and boss health is random. And the character that I use for any given level is pretty much locked in and also random. And pretty much every character has an equal chance of showing up, but that does not necessarily mean that I'll be using them an equal number of times. Could happen. I've seen it happen, but it's not guaranteed. One convenience I do have on this one is that it gave me the option of doing the life and continue system of uh, the Super Mario All Stars version. Basically, 5 lives to start and infinite continues, because why not? And game number 5. I am honestly amazed that it's taken this long for this game to show up. Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Uh, the sanity settings I plan on using for this one include cow sanity, scrub sanity, shop sanity, token sanity, random master quest dungeons. Sounds daunting, but it's basically it's what I use by default. I'm used to it. Um, the big thing here is, and this is easily can have the biggest variance for how long this seed will take, because the requirements for the bridge to Ganon's castle is completely random. Stones, medallions, some combination of the two, skull tokens. It could be anything and everything. I've seen it be 0. I've had a practice seed that required 97 skulls. So yeah, this is a thing. Plus, the Ganon's Castle boss key is on the Light Arrow cutscene and is also random under the same parameters. In fact, that same seed that had the bridge at 97 skulls also had the key at 8 dungeon rewards, so I pretty much had to full clear the seed no matter what. Uh, Notably, I did turn off key sanity because, given the nature of things, especially with Master Quest involved, I will probably likely be double dipping dungeons anyway, so no sense in making it worse. At least for the marathon anyway. Uh there is also the 50-50 chance of it being Triforce Hunt, which could be anywhere from 1 to 100. I'll be able to find that out early on if I remember to look for it. Uh and yeah, that's pretty much the rundown. As always, I will be in voice chat on my Discord server. The link is in the video description, both here and pretty much all of my YouTube videos over the last few years. Like I said, it's open to anyone to join in if you want to join in the proceedings, particularly anyone who's more experienced in these randomizers than I am and can lend some insight into some of the madness that happens to me. Uh, just as a reminder, it's on Saturday, December 17th, starting at noon Eastern and going until it goes. We'll so join me then when chaos reigns supreme once more. And so until then, this is MeleeWizard, and have a nice day.